Alright, in this section what we're going to focus on are other ways that we can monitor or try to monitor what the actual user is doing in real time or close enough to it as we can get. There's two different things that we can do, three different things we can actually do. There is a module called SPIA. If I do a load and a -L, SPIA is right here. I have not had that much success with it. I haven't had much use for this, but we can load it, and all it does, actually I've already loaded it, so let me hit question mark, and there's the SPIA commands, and all there is there's a screen grab, and it attempts to grab a screenshot from processes active desktop. So let me explain kind of what this means. Now, screen grab basically is going to give us like a screenshot of as if we were the user on the victim machine looking at our monitor. Now what this does is, you'll notice that it says attempts to grab screenshot from processes active desktop. To understand this completely, you would need to understand the different desktops that are contained in the Windows operating system. We can do an enum desktop, it's plural with an S. We can see that there's different ones here. There's a default one, there's a disconnect, there's a WinLogon, so when you're at the WinLogon screen, that's what that would be used for. You have your main desktop, you have your disconnect, which would be like for your screensaver, that sort of thing. And so it's not just a desktop, it's not just one thing. There's actually a couple different things in there that we would kind of need to know to if we were running into trouble with this. And basically how you can change the desktop, like let's say we grab a screenshot and it's black. Well, that's because we're probably grabbing it from the wrong desktop. And or if you want to consider it a station, if that's easier for you to understand, then we would be doing it from the wrong station. And so with SPIA you have to know which one they're on. And so for right now, if we did a screen grab, it automatically opens up a picture, but it's black. And this is because it's on the wrong station or desktop. So the method that, let me use the question mark again, the method that I prefer to avoid all of that is screenshot. So I just type in screenshot, it saves this. We want to copy this and open up our web browser, and we're just going to paste it because your browser can open up images. And there we go. And is that what we see? Yep, that's what we see. So the screenshot doesn't matter, it will automatically grab whatever we're on. One more example. Let's go ahead and log in as IE user. Now we're IE user. So now let's see. Let's try and do a screen grab again. And again, we have a black screen. Let's do a screenshot. We'll copy and paste this. Open up our browser, and let's see what that shows us here. And there we go. We can see the desktop that we would see as if we were the user looking right here. So another way that we can try and get around with the SPIA thing, this black screen issue that we have, is we can try to migrate to a different process. So if we do a PS, we can get a list of processes that are currently in use by the system, and we can see that we're logged in as IE user. For one, this is IE user. Occasionally I've actually seen it to where I'll see processes from Bob that are running, processes from the IE user, but in this case let's try and migrate to, let's say, explorer.exe, and it's running as this user. So let's migrate. 2. 1820 is the process ID. Migration completed successfully. Now if I do a get UID, it actually tells me that I am the IE user. I basically migrated and obtained the privileges of whatever the process ID is. So if I was NT authority system before, like I migrated from 1056, 1056 was actually running as NT authority system. And we migrated actually to a lesser privilege, but to 1820, which is explorer.exe. Now let's see what happens. Let's use our question mark again, and let's try and do a screen grab and see what that does. Aha, there we go. So now our screen grab function works. You just have to kind of work at it to actually get it right. And that was just simply migrating to a process that like explorer.exe on the current user that was logged in, and we were able to do that. So that's just one example. Another thing that we can actively do to monitor what's going on the victim's machine is we can actually start what's called a VNC connection. And if I do a run VNC, this will probably be detected by antivirus. Because of the Meterpreter session, that's fine, but what Meterpreter, some of the things that you run inside of Meterpreter, it can cause things to flag as far as the antivirus goes. And we're going to go ahead and get into the next couple of sections. We'll be talking a lot about antivirus and some other things, but let's go ahead and just run the VNC, and we need to be patient with it. It's going to load up a bunch of stuff, and we're going to see a pop-up, and let's just wait for that. You see this? It uploaded an agent, an exe file in the temp folder, and that right there is what would most probably trigger your antivirus. But now we have a VNC session, so we can sit here and watch the user do things, or we actually have control of this machine. Now if I switch over here, notice that I have the start menu open, so I'll come back over here and you'll notice that the start menu is open. So this isn't happening like invisible, like they're not going to know that we're doing this. If a user is sitting there watching the computer, they're going to know that, hey, someone else is on my computer, this isn't right. So one of the other little pieces that I can add to this, I'm going to go ahead and close this VNC session. Excuse me. Let me go ahead and stop this VNC session. There we go. There is an option to where we can get the idle time of the machine. So let me do a question mark. And there it is right there. Idle time. You can see it says returns the number of seconds the remote user has been idle. So if we want to get an idea of the user, one, we've got our screenshot option, which worked. We had our SPIA that we were eventually able to get to work by migrating to a different process. And the only other way that we can, like let's say we wanted to start that VNC session, but we didn't want them to notice that we were on there, then we would just get the idle time. So I'm going to type in idle time. User has been idle for 1 minute and 2 seconds. So obviously the longer we wait, it's keeping track of that. So obviously if it was like 30 minutes or 45 minutes, then probably the user hasn't been sitting in the chair, or maybe he went out, took a break, or he's on his lunch break, or whatever the situation is. You know, I'm just giving you examples. So that's just a couple different things that we can do to actively see, visually see what's going on, and even how to start up that VNC session so that you can actually, as if you were the user themselves taking over their desktop. So see you in the next vid.